What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814ADC, and I am finally ready to do my full review on what is probably one of my favorite knives in the collection right now, and that is the Kubey Royal. I believe this is the KU122. I could be completely wrong. I don't have the box with me. I, for some reason, left the box at my house, and I forgot to bring it back, so I will look that up and make sure it is in the description, but I think it's the KU122. But nonetheless, it's the Royal, and it's an awesome knife, guys. I'm really happy that I picked this up. I'm happy that I listened to Kev over at Lefty EDC. He was kind of pushing people to get one because they were so good, and I was talking to him about it, and he's like, dude, what are you waiting on? Just go buy one. And I did, and it's just a great knife, and I'm super glad I have it in the collection. Before we jump into today's video, I just got done unboxing the Kvista Blade Works model or variant PE. Got this in finally after waiting on the Kickstarter campaign and all that stuff to work its way through. Big fan of this knife. So if you guys missed the video, I don't know what day it posted. These videos will both be posted around Thanksgiving. But this will be posted before this one, so if you missed it, please go check it out if you're interested in it in a, kind of a budget-friendly swayback style knife. I really like it. So, but jumping back into this one, this is just budget goodness, guys. I would consider, actually, I'm not going to consider that to be budget goodness yet because I want to carry it, I want to experience it. But I think that the variant PE also has, it has some footsteps of becoming some budget goodness or becoming a budget awesome knife. I can't talk right now. It is what it is. But the Kubey Royal has just really entrenched itself as one of my favorite knives. Just fit and finish is awesome on it. The action's good. Materials are fine with me. Just price point's good. Like all around, just I really can't knock this knife or anything. So jumping right into materials, the blade is dead centered. I would like to say that. I always forget to say that until like late in the video, but it is dead centered. You guys can see that kind of, there we go. I did take this knife apart, clean it up, lube it up, add some Loctite. So it is, I have maintained it a little bit, but we have these really nice tan G10 scales, and I've never seen scales like this before, or G10 done like this before, because it almost has like a milling pattern in it, and then you have this sort of like groove cut out, and then same on the other side, you have a groove cut out right here, and it's just like, I don't know, it just has this cool like grain mill pattern to it. I think it looks awesome. I also really like the KB for Kubey knives, like the pivot they do. I think that looks pretty baller. You have a loop over style deep carry clip that goes to the butt end of the knife. Works as awesome as well too. One thing I would like to say is they recess these screws down into the pocket clip itself, but they didn't countersink the clip into the scales. So as I always like to say, they kind of did like half of what we would like to see them do. So I can't really complain on that, notion, but I would love when companies mill out a little bit of the scale to drop the clip into it. Just makes it so much easier and so effortless to go in and out of your pocket. But just wanted to point that out there. So I think that's all for scales and stuff like that. This is obviously a front flipper with a hole for deployment, and the middle finger flick is phenomenal. The front flick is pretty good too, and the I'd like to call it the index flick is better than the thumb flick. So we'll jump into that with action. But for a blade, you have D2. I think it's, yeah, you got D2 blade. This is a design by CM Knife Works. I believe his name is Colin Manspierre, I think. Kevin's talked about him on his videos before. Kevin, I think, is actually in talks with Colin about like kind of co-designing a knife, which I'm super excited for. I'm excited to see what they come up with. But that's his maker's mark right there. Just kind of nice, and you know, you have a little bit of billboarding, but it's definitely on the smaller side. And then there you have Kubi. And this is sort of like a sheep's foot style blade with like a little bit of a drop point in there. Definitely kind of a unique blade shape, but I have grown to really like it. It's very usable, and I think the overall, you know, shape and design of this knife just looks sexy. Before I forget, the pocket clip is reversible, so lefties can rejoice. I think that was a big reason why Kevin liked this knife so much. Scales, you have, you know, stainless steel scales, or liners, excuse me, that are nested into the G10, which is really, really nice. The show side liner has quite a bit of milling out of it, and the liner lock side, this does have a liner lock, you have a little bit of milling, but the knife is very lightweight. Like it is not a heavy knife at all. Feels great in the hand, and just the milling that they did was awesome. So the grind is a flat grind, not full flat grind, but or kind of a saber grind, I guess you would. Is that what that would be considered? But you know, decently thin behind the edge. This thing's not, you know, the best slicer in the world, but as an all-around knife, the thinness that it does have is, you know, very, very adequate. I don't think I'm missing anything else. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything else. So we'll just jump right into action, and I'm gonna start with a middle finger flick. Just comes right out of there. Detent is tuned so well for this knife. It just is, I don't know how they did it, but it is just dialed 100% for this middle finger flick. Kind of has a cool sound to it too. It's so satisfying. Try to get one more good one for you guys. I don't know I always struggle with doing this for you guys. There we go. I'm trying to look in the camera and see. You can do the kind of the index finger flick, which I like to do on a lot of my knives, which is nice, very satisfying. Thumb flick doesn't work as well for this because I think I've gone over this in videos before, but you, in my opinion, when you are thumb flicking a knife with a hole, you want it to be a rounder hole that's kind of away from the scales a little bit. Where this is a very skinny and tall hole and you're kind of pressed up against the scales, it's kind of hard to get, you know, I just can't, I can finally do it, but it took 4 or 5 tries. You just can't get enough leverage in there to get it to pop out of that detent to, you know, fly out of there. You can slow roll it okay, but if I'm going to use my thumb or my pointer finger, I'm going to use my pointer finger and flick it out. I can't get enough leverage in there, and that's just how my fingers work. I'm sure other people find that issue as well. Like the Spyderco, where are we at here? Like the Para 3, you have a lot of, you know, area out here to get your thumb in there and to flick it out. Big open hole, where this is kind of a skinny, narrow hole. So I'm hoping I'm doing a good, you know, way of explaining this, but the thumb flick, I got it that time first try, but you kind of have to think about where you're putting your finger and think about where, I got it that time too, but it just doesn't work the best in my opinion. So pointer finger flick does work the best out of those two, I think. So, which is kind of I missed it that time, but kind of an underrated way to flick knives, I think. And then obviously the front flipper. At first, it kind of bothered my thumb because just the way it is shaped, and I was flicking it so much that my thumb was kind of ate up, so I had to let it sit for a few days. But now I know exactly where you want to find it, or, you know, the spot where you want to find. It flips right open. I want to say, I forget what video Kevin was doing it in, but he said that front flippers are kind of like a learning curve, because they're all they're the same idea, but they're different. The way the knives are built, you know, the way the detent is and everything like that. So it just takes you a little bit of time to find the area where you want to, you know, put your finger and utilize it. But It took me a few days, but once I got it down, this thing just flips so well. You can kind of top flip it. It's not the easiest, but you know, it works nonetheless. So just another way to, you know, throw into your, another way of opening to throw into your fidget kind of repertoire. So action's very good. Closing action is stupid smooth too. This thing's on bearings. Hits your nail. I mean, for a $60 knife, guys, stupid smooth. Stupid smooth. It was even, I mean, it was still smooth before I put KPL in. So KPL has obviously made it a little bit better, but from the factory, it was really smooth too. In the liner lock, I'm gonna kind of put this in with the closing action too, and I think Kev also brought this up too in his review of it. But the access of the liner lock is probably one of the best that I've ever experienced in a knife. I mean, you have the G10 cutaway, so you can just, it's like effortless to put your finger in there. And it is so easy. It is just so easy to move that lock bar. See, I'm doing it with my pointer finger at a bad angle, and it's still super easy. Like, it's just, I mean, you're just boop, and the knife and the blade drops. Like, it's so fun, so easy to play with. Like, it just makes you, like, you could sit here and just front flip it, middle finger flick it, index finger flick it, and you could do that in 100 times and you wouldn't get tired of it in a minute span. Like, it's just, it's that satisfying, and it's that good, guys. I really just have been kind of blown away by the quality of both actions, opening and close. So just awesome. 2 thumbs up, 11 out of 10 would recommend. So that's it for action. Moving on to carry. Ergos are good, guys. This is kind of just a very neutral knife. You just have, I mean, it's basically straight from here all the way back to where it turns a little bit and kind of makes this little curve. And then same for here. I mean, you have this nice landing choil or finger choil up there. And then it has a little bit of an indent, and then it's just straight back until you have that curve. So I can get all 4 fingers on here, even without that choil. It's very comfortable. My pinky's just kind of hanging on, but it's comfortable nonetheless. And then you can choke up and use that choil, and it's just, I mean, you're locked in here. It's just like melts into your hand. Like, this thing is just so comfortable. You know, any cut or any draw, cut, you know, saber cut, saber grip, I don't even know what the names are called. Any way you hold this knife is going to be comfortable. So, like, I tend to use this a lot for when I'm like drawing through packages, drawing through letters, labels, stuff like that. It's very comfortable, you know, just boop, draw. So it's just, the pock clip is very flush to the scales. It does not stand up off that scale very much at all. I can feel it's there, but it's definitely not like causing a hot spot. It's not, you know, really hurting anything. So they did a good job with that. The G10 just feels really good too. Some G10s are overly grippy and some are overly smooth, but this has, I mean, a very, I don't know if it has to do with that milling pattern, like that grain pattern it has, or what, but it's just, it's comfortable. The jimping up top here is just very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like scrunched together, and it's very, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Very neutral, I guess. Very, you know, not aggressive. The jimping on the liner lock is a little bit more aggressive, but that's okay when you're kind of down there. It keeps your fingers locked in. So Ergos are good, guys. I can't complain about anything from Ergos either. So I can't complain about this knife at all. It's a phenomenal knife. And then on to action. On to carry. Loop over style deep carry clip that goes to the butt end of the knife with a lightweight knife that isn't very big to begin with. This thing carries so well. You put it in your pocket, you don't have anything but smooth and contoured G10 to get your hand on as you're, reaching in your pocket. I've carried this both in my back right pocket of my shorts and my front right pocket of my jeans. Both times it's carried very, very well. I made sure to put some EDCI on the steel before I carried it on my back right pocket, in case I got a little butt sweat on it during the summer. But I've had no issues with rusting. That's a different topic, but I've had no issues with rusting at all, knock on wood. So yeah, carries very, very well. It just has the perfect weight with a very good pocket clip and kind of the perfect size in my opinion. I really, really enjoy knives of this size. So that leads me into my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. Guys, if you guys don't already know by now what I recommend this knife to you, then you should just not watch this video or just delete this video from your browsing feed. I would 100% recommend this knife to anybody. And if you're a knife person and you want a good knife that has solid materials, in my opinion, that is fun as heck to fidget with, for a good price point, go buy this knife. I think that everyone should experience one. For $60 on Amazon, that's where I got this one. I forgot to mention that. You can get them in this color, I think, or you can get it in this, black, and I think there's one more, jade. And then all three different colors have either the sort of the stone wash or bead blast color of the blade or style of the blade, or you can get like a light DLC coat. So there's some options there. If you don't like this one, you might like the black or the jade more. You could always rip out the jade. But $60 on Amazon. They were out of stock on White Mountain Knives, which I tend to go, if I'm going to look for a knife, I tend to go there first, because if they have it, I can use Kevin's discount code or Casey Knives Fast discount code. And that, I mean, because most places like that don't offer any discounts. Like Blade HQ doesn't offer discounts, Knife Joy, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, like they don't offer discounts for people. So White Mountain Knives is kind of the way to go in my opinion, but they were sold out. So I was like, oh, I'll check Amazon. If it's in stock, I'll get it in like 2 days with Prime shipping, and bada boom, bada bing. Got it in like 2.5 days of shipping. So $50 or $60, you're getting a very cool and very nice G10 in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite ones I've experienced. D2 blade steel. I like D2, so I don't really have any issues with it. A nice deep carry pocket clip. A very lightweight knife, a very, easy to carry knife as I drop it and mess up my camera. I'm turning into Kevin, guys. He drops like everything at least once a video, and I've been doing that lately, so I'm sorry about that. I just kind of scared myself, but good size, good materials, and the real home run of this, I think, or home runs of this, are the ergos are just stupid comfortable in a multitude of grips, just very, very comfortable to use. And then you have, the awesome detent of the middle finger flick. You can do the index finger flick. I didn't do that very well. Index finger flick. You can do the slow roll if you are so obliged to. And then you have that front flipper that also works very, very well. That time it didn't, but. And heck, you can even toss in a top flip if you want. So you get a ton of fidget factor with this knife, good materials. It's well built. Kubi's kind of raising its game in the, raising some eyes in the budget category. They've been coming out with some awesome other designs as well as this one, or in addition to this one. So I'm just glad I got it in the collection. If I can find it on Amazon or White Mountain Knives, I'll leave a link down below. If you guys are interested in picking one up, I highly suggest you do. I'm so glad I did. It's really, became kind of a favorite in my collection. So, yep, guys, this was the Kubi Knives, or Kubi Knife Works. No, Kubi Knives Royal. I believe, again, it's the K122, or KU122. I'll make sure and I'll put it in the title of this video. So if you guys... If I was right, I was right. If I was wrong, you guys didn't hear me say that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone who always shows support and comes back and watches all my videos. Please consider clicking like and subscribe. Again, I'm pushing towards 500 subs, and there'll be a pretty cool giveaway coming up. This is probably going to go live. I'm considering maybe putting it out on Friday. So if it's past Thanksgiving, I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday with your family. Hope you guys just ate tons of good food and just had some good quality time with your loved ones. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.